Hello, guests. It's the host, and welcome to the Silent Lounge. After posting my first impressions video on Killing Floor 3, I got a lot of feedback about the game, which was primarily negative. Many people do not like the creative direction Killing Floor 3 is taking. From bad character designs to questionable gameplay mechanics, Killing Floor 3 doesn't know what it wants to be. You could say that Killing Floor 3 is having an identity crisis. From what I experienced from the beta, Killing Floor 3 requires more time to cook. Even though I enjoyed some aspects of the game, I still have problems with some things. This video aims to provide criticism in 3 crucial areas of Killing Floor 3. Hopefully, the devs at Tripwire will watch this video and take notes on how to make Killing Floor 3 a better game. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you enjoyed your stay at the Silent Lounge. The biggest complaint I have seen in the comment section of many Killing Floor 3 videos is that the perks are locked to specialists. I discussed this in my first impressions video and I will discuss it again in this video. People who have played the previous 2 Killing Floor games could decide a character's perk. For example, let's say you like to use pistols in Killing Floor 2, so the Gunslinger perk would be more beneficial to your playstyle. In Killing Floor 3, you must select a specific character with that perk instead of assigning it to your desired character. Removing this feature kills the replayability factor because you are now forced to play with a character you may not like. Characters are everything in Killing Floor. They have personalities and quirks that make the gameplay unique. Imagine being in a science class, and instead of being able to choose your friend as a lab partner, the teacher pairs you with an obnoxious and insufferable person who doesn't help you. That's what Killing Floor 3 feels like. I hate the Devlin character, but I like the Firebug perk, and I have no choice but to play as the character. According to the Tripwire blog post, more than one character can have a specific perk, meaning if you don't like to play as Devlin, you can play as another character with the Firebug perk. The issue I have with this is that they don't need to do this if they give the player the power to decide what perks they want, and it would be easier to implement than create a whole new character. Tripwire can leave the characters and their abilities, but let the perks be options for the player. I received many comments that disagreed with my take on the gunplay, so I decided to replay Killing Floor 1 and 2 to see if they were right. And my god, they were right. Even though I still enjoyed the gunplay in Killing Floor 3, the previous games had more oomph that made you feel like you were college dorm roommates with Doomslayer. If I had played Killing Floor 1 or even Killing Floor 2 before the Killing Floor 3 beta, my first impressions video would have been significantly different. So I retract my statement about Killing Floor 3 having better gunplay. I was incredibly wrong. The issue I'm seeing with the gunplay in Killing Floor 3 compared to the previous games is that it doesn't feel as impactful as it should be. How could we go from this to this? I began researching the gunplay in Killing Floor 3 to pinpoint why the guns seemed so weak, and then I stumbled upon Cheeseman Gaming. I highly recommend you support this guy. He has surprisingly only 40 subscribers as of recording this, and I honestly think he deserves a lot more. So please go show him some love and support, and tell him the host of the Silent Lounge sent ya.
The more I kept playing, the more I started to realize that the guns feeling like garbage is by design. The guns at the beginning of the game, when you don't have any mods on them and you haven't built them up, straight out of the trader pod in the rounds of whatever game you're playing, suck balls. They're shit. They do okay damage, whatever, but they don't feel fun to use. Once you start modding them out and you give them different ammo types, the impact comes back to the gameplay. The shooting starts to feel better. This is such a bizarre design choice. Like, the game is not fun to start with, and it gets more fun the more hours you put into it. But this is Killing Floor. It's not Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like, no one wants to be a peasant for an hour and a half while they slowly get used to the game and figure out that you're supposed to mod your guns to make them work. That is bizarre. It's a weird design choice. I haven't seen many people mention this, but take the shotgun, for instance, with the engineer. You start off with a pump shotgun. It does have a lot of shells in it, like 16, I think, in a clip. It shoots really slow. It does delete things, but it does not feel impactful. You can shoot a guy, he kind of falls down. That's about all you're getting from it. Once you take that thing back into the workshop and you put, say, explosive shells in it, all of a sudden it's like gibbing everyone. You shoot it into a crowd and it just explodes in pink mist and his legs fly off. That is fun. That is what we want from the game to begin with. This is what you should show players straight away. Or at least come up with a prompt that says, hey, guess what? Your weapons are shit right now. You need to improve them to make sure that they are more effective. And the more effective they get and the more you experiment, the more fun the game becomes.
If you want these guns to have more of that oomph from the previous games, you're going to have to grind for it by playing more matches to win upgrade parts. To some, that is fine, but for others who want to jump in and casually play, it feels like a chore. If players are not having a good time with the gameplay, they will not want to play it more. It shouldn't feel like a chore to get the gunplay experience that you want. Killing Floor 2 balanced that perfectly with an upgrade system in the trader pod. If you wanted to upgrade your weapon, it would cost weight and dosh, but you didn't need to upgrade the gun to make it fun. It was already fun the way it is. Tripwire needs to tune the weapons to be more fun at their base level without any attachments to give the player what they came here for. The HUD elements of Killing Floor 3 are the worst part of this game for me. Killing Floor 2 has a great HUD. It was minimal, it didn't take up most of the screen, and I could focus on killing Zeds in my surroundings. I want a toggle option to disable all HUD elements, or an option to choose what HUD elements I want to keep, just like in Killing Floor 2. I also want to talk about Killing Floor 3's Trader Pod, as it looks terrible compared to Killing Floor 2. In Killing Floor 2, all the weapons were categorized on the right side, and the middle section had the weapon stats. Killing Floor 3's Trader Pod isn't as neat or easy to navigate. I just found out how to buy more equipment. There isn't a button to buy a refill. You have to select the gadget menu, find the equipment you want to refill, and then buy how many you want. I don't understand why everything else has a refill button, but the equipment doesn't. Something like that hinders the experience and makes it more of a hassle. And to clarify what I said in the last video about tiers, I don't want to buy the same weapon with an attachment in the trader pod. It's like that option is only there to fill space rather than offer an upgrade to your current weapon. What Tripwire can do to fix this issue is to have a drop-down menu that lets you select the attachments you want to purchase. Or they can make it simple, like Killing Floor 2, and categorize all the weapon types to make the trader pod easier to navigate. If the devs of Killing Floor 3 are watching this video, it is vital to listen to your fanbase instead of outright ignoring them. Since the beginning, people have said they don't want a hero-based FPS game or specialists. If you ignore the fanbase, they will happily ignore your game. As a fan of Killing Floor, I want this game to prove me wrong and deliver a high-octane adrenaline rush like the previous entries. A game should not rely on updates, DLCs, or expansions to be good. The base game should be good by itself. Helldivers 2 had a lot of content when it first launched, and it became a mainstream game that people still play today. Helldivers 2 was not a buggy mess that ignored its fanbase and demanded money for cosmetics. The fans, including me, have made countless videos saying we don't want Killing Floor 3 to be a hero shooter-esque game, and that we want Killing Floor 3 to preserve what made the previous titles special. If Killing Floor 3 will ignore its fanbase to please other audiences, what choice do we have other than to leave? I will not pre-order this game unless Tripwire creates a roadmap to address all the criticisms and how they plan to resolve them. Anyway, that's all I have for today's video. Will you pick this game up? Let me know in the comments section and subscribe if you enjoyed your stay at the Silent Lounge.